I welcome you all for the third session on software configuration management, that is SCM techniques. Fundamentally, we have seen variety of processes for software configuration management. Likewise, the change control. The change control has to be applied by CCB, recognizing the need for the software configuration management change. We remember that there are multiple documents altogether. They are guiding us for software configuration items. We have seen thoroughly that how to investigate the SC item, that is software configuration items. Now, proceeding ahead, we will be taking a look at the variety of approaches as well as the techniques to do the configuration management. One thing I would like to share that this presentation is not encompassing the GitHub, right? Because for learning GitHub, we have to have specific practice, and there is thoroughly links are been there for project, and it works around with Linux like commands. So I indicated what is out of scope of this presentation. So proceeding ahead, SCM and SDLC. Just if we compare that, we go around with the requirements to model, to source code. Now here onwards, we have to be very much careful because we are building the scripts, we are building the final product, text scripts and data, and then realizing the final product. Now, if we look at the traditional life cycle, its analysis, design, implementation. Between testing and implementation, we got to have release. So multiple releases are being made, and then you can comment about the final release. So what is the difference between these two releases? Just trying to say to you that what is being there in the SCM as far as two releases are being concerned. One is related to the versions. One is related to versions, and one is related to the actual deployment of this software product. Proceeding next is the version control systems and SCM. Now, just see to it the tagline. It says that version control is equivalent to SCM, a discipline of software engineering, consists of techniques, practices, tools for their applications, defines the process of change, having the mechanisms for management, control and accounting of the changes, and solve conflicts in the changes. Because there is something which is called as mutation that has been applied, smallest level of changes. There can be major mutants or minor mutants where the changes have been done. Those will be indicated as versions. Those will be indicated as minor improvements. So typically in SE, the version number 1.0, 2.0 is an indicator of a serial number. The serial number will guide us that now we are there with the major version or minor version. Major version 1.0, 2.0, 3.0. But if I am speaking about 3.11 version, then that is the minor kind of a change that you can observe. Version numbers are also historically linked with the person who created them. So therefore, older versions, they must be retrieved, examined and compared, and if it is possible to return to an older version, you should be able to revert to that. Next one is that two versions just opposite to each other. On the right hand side, certain image has been coming around. Two versions. Right. So version control system is having the functionality of file version control. That is, the file is being appended with changes, merge and differences search. Two versions are being clubbed together, finding out the difference between them. Branching, this is one of the another thing, that is, if I am there with a branch, let us say 1.0 and 2.0 are the branches, then if I will be working with 2.0 branch, then I have to keep the related kind of and stuff to 2.11 or 2.12. So, in this session, we are trying to understand that what kind of an systems are been there. That is file locking. Now, change control demands file locking. Yeah. So, we will be thoroughly understanding this in this session, that what is being meant by file locking. Because you must know that the configuration management team has to take out, that is to perform checkout first of all from the configuration management database and then put it up onto the workplace. Now, workspace is a kind of a stuff where the version is being monitored, the version is being controlled, and then for consoles and GUI clients, okay, the support, the kind of support, because if it is driven by console, little bit of command oriented stuff will be there, and for GUI that would be rather easy to work around. So there are well known products, CVS, SVN, that is subversion numbering, that is free and open source, Jet Mercurial, which is distributed, working on distributed version control system, which is free and open source, and Perforce and Microsoft TFS is a commercial. Microsoft has another product which is called as Rational Clear Case, which is been there for configuration management. But very heavily open source free distribution licensed products, they are being used worldwide. So the repository, now the two terms are very important. Repository is a server that stores the file, that is the documents, keeps a change log. So a server means it should be that much capable of holding all the kind of versions. So there are revisions and versions, that is initial version, start of a document, that is a result of multiple changes. Any version which has started doesn't end into a fully fixed kind of a phased kind of consistent version. So updates will be likelihood, okay, that is been happening. So these are the terms for SCM. And let us go one by one. Checkout retrieves a working copy of the file from the repository into a local directory. Now this local directory belongs to programmer. It is possible to lock the files. Why to lock the files? Once you are not locking it, it means that it is open for any kind of an mutation, that is changes. A change is a modification to local file, document, that is under version control. So there are two types of files, local file and server level file, which has been coming up with the server directory. The change list is the set of changes to be applied to multiple files together, which are to be committed at the same time. And commit check-in, this is one thing that the programmers should do, that applying the changes made to the work copy to the files in the repository and automatically creates the new version. It is the job and duty of the version control software, right? So conflicts may happen when simultaneous changes are being made to a file by multiple users. Now, here you can opt for two options, automatic or manual solving. Manual solving might not help you that much, but automatic will surely help you. And that is what is the value of project, right? That is JITA in short. And then we have got the update, get the latest version, checking out the changed files from the repository to local directory, and you can undo the checkout also. You can cancel the changes to a group of files, you can revert it back, you can merge the changes to a files simultaneously made by different users. Now this requires distributed approach, right? Because we are making simultaneous changes and it has to be accommodated. So the label and tag. Labels, they marks the file with a given version, and branching, as I explained you, that division of repository in number of separate workflows. Moving next, a workspace. It is a place where a developer keeps all the artifacts. Related documentations could be there, the algorithms written in a particular language, okay, so the date of modification, date of creation, all of the things are belonging to developer's workspace. Now this workspace is associated with the artifacts that have been indicated. That is, a document also is an artifact. Likewise, your SRS can be the artifact. So now we are speaking about the source code management. So source code may be the Java files, maybe the library files, maybe the scripts, maybe sometimes it is being generated by IDE and something coming out of the frameworks. Right. Now we will attempt to understand the trunk, branch and tag. Trunk would be the main body of development, originating from the start of the project until the present. So just recollect elephant. Elephants, they do have the trunk, right? Humans, they don't have. Elephants, they do have the trunk, right? So this trunk is been well connected to the main body of elephant, originating, and as it grows, the trunk grows up. But up to certain extent it will grow, right? So limitless trunk you will not find in case of software also. Branch will be a copy of the code. Just see to it. It will be a copy of the code derived from a certain point in the trunk. It may be in the mid or right in the beginning or towards the end, any point that is being used for applying major changes while preserving the integrity of the code. Remember that if integrity of the code is hampered, the overall security is baseless. We are speaking about software security. We are not speaking about network security. So security is an omnidirectional word which can be applied to a variety of disciplines. Tag will be a point in time on the trunk or a branch. Now trunk or a branch, be careful about this. That you wish to preserve. Tag that is required to be preserved. The two main reasons is the major release of the software, whatsoever the label it is alpha or beta, but it is the most stable point of the software. So repeating again, trunk, it is indicator of main body of the development right from starting towards the end, whatsoever end you determine till the project progresses. Branch is the copy of the code at a certain point in the trunk and the major changes have been applied. Tag, you associate that this is where the milestone is being reached. I am now changing the nomenclature to milestone. That is for better understanding. One milestone has been achieved. One release has been done. So let's proceed ahead with the current version. Now this reserve runs can be related to alpha or beta releases. Well, what are the best practices for CM? That is effective and efficient, meeting customer requirements, having rational performance goals, and position as the organization as a leader. So you have what customer environment and you have what supplier environment. Now, unless and until you bridge these two, you will not be able to ever successfully deploy your solution. Simple is the case like that compatibility issue if you want to resolve, the compatibilities could be resolved by tuning the two environments. If something is really platform independent, that platform independence has to be integrated somewhere. And you may use the applicable CM principles, document the CM process, integrate it in organization process, work around on benchmarking, assess the measures and metrics, and if you see to the 649 view, EIA 649 view, which is the standard about configuration management, buyer is imposed by requirements, that is military standards, whereas EIA 649 view says that industry best practices employing the CM principles. So, happy situations will be there for accommodating the best practices, and the buyer is not imposed, okay, to take out the product as the fate. Next is, this is what is the process activity model. Be careful about this model. You have got product structures, determine CIs, that is configuration items, select configuration, document types and baselines, identify documents and items, approve release and baseline documentation. Now, just remember what we have discussed about baselines, isn't it? When we can say that we are there on a particular floor, let us say third floor, because there existed zeroth floor. So, that is the comparison, okay? In previous slides, I have discussed that particular point. So, engineering changes, that is approved engineering changes, can be accommodated by practicing the baselines and releases. So, the configuration control process activity, ECP stands for engineering change process, government configuration control initiation, contractor configuration controls are in there, CM management communication is there, and then disposition is the last item that you will receive. Yeah, so configuration control initialization and tools, like ECPs, RFDs, that is request for deviation. RFD stands for request for deviation, right? So, now, what are the status accounting tasks? Contract provisions and record the current approvals along with the CI, record critical and major requests and do some action on this, right? Give the inputs, likewise approved configuration document, change identification, documentation, disposition means giving it to the developer's workspace, action items list, and then you can have the status. Can you release the current software or not? Okay, whether the versions are really controlled or not. So inputs to this could be automated CM system, CM planning, communication, and so on and so on. So client has to be active here, just to tell you. So configuration status accounting over a system life cycle. Just see to it mission needs, concept studies, progress definition, risk reduction, engineering and manufacturing development or software development, product field and deploy. So you have got from concept to performance to definition to design to solution to physical versus runtime objects configuration, and on the left hand side you have got the status accounting, and on the right hand side you have the system life cycle. So let us see in detail now the verification and audit. You see to it that everything has been documented, manufacturing engineers has been there, contractual provisioning is there. There is something related to pre-audit. You have to be sure about the documents which could be taken into consideration, then perform the audit and suggest about the acceptance, whether these things are been accepted or not accepted. So status configuration, then approved configuration docs, physical CI and computer specific CI. So action schedule has been determined, verified changes have been made, then the audit objects, the documentation of that. There is a peculiar template driven format in which the information is been filled. So this is not about essay writing, this is about writing the facts. And then one can generate the chart, the summary chart, right, about the audit report. What was verified, what was validated, and what is the action item. So the contractual provisioning and verification, they go hand in hand. Now this is the example set of version control. I hope so that you should be focused here onwards, right? We should be focused here onwards because the slides, as I will be running, you will have to understand. So user A and user B are there. Now repository is the server side repository. From there one has to make the checkout. Just see A and B. These are the checkout procedures for user A and user B. I repeat again how to interpret the diagram. There are users A and B. There is a repository which consists of main development line, the version branch A, version branch B, and a version A.1. That is a minor version change. So first of all, what we are required to do, we have to check out from this central repository or server repository. So A is the action set for user A, checkout. So the item will be available on the developer's workspace. With B checkout, it will be available with user B. Now C is now making the corrections and then moving in back to the main development line, and D is indicating the workout, and there are two versions now, they are being mixed. Can you understand? This is the previous version that has been coming from the server, right? This is the new thing that has been added, and merge is the operation, right? These two things are being merged together without any conflicts, and then you can perform check-in. Once check-in has been done, just see to it, user A has done the check-in through C, operation C, to the main development line. From here onwards, the changes are required to be propagated to version branch A, branch B. So version models are lock, modify, unlock. Only one user works on a given file at a time. So can there be any conflict? 1:1 assignment? There is no conflict at all. Visual Source Safe and TFS, both of them are the paid ones. they are supporting that. Copy, modify and merge. You take your own copy, modify it, and then uh, make changes parallel to your own working copies. So parallel changes are being merged and the final version is emerging. Example of that is CBS and subversioning. Now there are problems related to locking. One has to put up a lock on what is been getting modified, and merging means that you are creating one more kind of an working model or prototype of the given problem, and both of them should be merged. Now let us say about locking. Administrative problems are there, like someone lacks a given file and forgets about it. What to do about that? Another is waiting for someone to release a file. So if someone doesn't release a file, you cannot have, okay, and if something is locked, okay, you cannot access, right? And unneeded locking off the whole time. People do make the locks, okay, they do not make the things available, isn't it? Yeah. And example is Andy works on beginning of the file and Bobby works on the end, right? So this is an lazy bees approach, right? I am managing the version. I am solely responsible. I am the dictator. I will not give you the copy for modification unless I wish. So therefore, merging problems, if a given file is concurrently modified, it is necessary to merge the changes. Merging is of course hard, and therefore coordination and responsibility is needed. Commit as fast as you can. Do the changes and commit the code. Do not commit the code that does not compile or blocks the work of others. Very, very important. You must have seen this scenario that about the environment, the source environment and the client environment, they are just the same, but the things are not been working. Why so? There is a reason. Why so it happens is because they are not being tuned, they are not being committed, something is getting been blocked, okay, something is not visually clear, yeah, and it's all blurry. So the lock, modify, unlock. Somebody places lock, then somebody modifies it, and this thing. This is the example set now. There is a repository, yeah, and Andy and Bobby are working around on the updates, right, of the copy of A, yeah. Andy and Bobby check out a file A. I hope so there is no problem in getting this. The checkout is done without locking. They just get the local copy and they do the modification. Next, Andy locks file A and begins modifying it. Unless he finishes, nobody else can access that, right? Unless the administrator wants. So local editing is being done by Andy. Then Bobby tries to lock the file too, but she can't. So Bobby waits for Andy to finish and unlock the file. So waiting period has been there, okay, for Bobby to work around for the same kind of an copy, that is A. Now, just see to it that Andy commits the changes and unlocks the file. Once it is been unlocked, it means that the copy should be made available to Bobby, who is the legitimate user. So, now Bobby can take the modified file and lock it. Bobby edits her local copy of the file because the previous file was there with Andy. Yeah, even though Bobby locks the file, Andy can work out on that. But how is it possible? Bobby can edit. At the same time, Andy can wait around. Bobby finishes, commits her changes, unlocks the file, that is commit happens, and then any updates are been there, and he updates the changes from the repository. So this is how the lock, modify, unlock model works. Now, next is the copy, modify and merge. So Andy and Bobby check out the file A. No locking has been there. The checkout is done without lock. No locks are there on A, file A, right? So both of them, they work together. Both of them edit the local copies of the file in the same time. This is very important, in the same times. That is, parallelly one file is been getting modified, right? So Bobby commits her changes to the repository. Andy tries to commit his changes. But what happens is here. Just have a look at the previous slide. Bobby commits. So now repository consists of Bobby's version, right? Next is Andy tries to commit his changes, but should have done in time. Now a version conflict occurs. So therefore, what is the solution? Andy commits the changes to the repository and a common version with the changes of Andy and Bobby is inserted. Both of the copies of file A with Andy's version and Bobby's version are available. Both of them are being committed. Now what is the solution? You have got two copies. The local copies have been edited by Andy and Bobby. Both of them have committed their own changes. So Andy updates his changes with the ones from the repository. The changes merged into his local copy. Now a merge conflict can occur. And the next thing is that Bobby updates the changes from the repository. She gets the common version with the changes of Andy and Bobby. So what is important here is that step 6, when Andy updates the changes and then Bobby is going to get the version which is a recent update. Now whether to freeze this version or not, that would depend on alpha or beta level of testing. So let us take a look at the configuration management tools, RCS. In 1975, CVS, concurrent version control, based on RCS. The HTTP address has been given to you. You can check around on that. Subversion, that is based on CVS. So, and Perforce and ClearCase, which are the paid versions, right? So, it keeps the track of developers' activities and multiple servers are there. Just see to it that the first building block was RCS. And on RCS, CVS was been built. On CVS, subversioning SVN was been built, right? So, revision control systems, RCS. So, revision group is a set of text documents called revisions that evolve from each other. And manual processes are being involved in this thing. So you can flexibly select, okay, the things to be modified. And if you are working around on distributed software development, you have to stamp the word revisions. You can find the word over here, stamping. Yeah. These stampings are comparable to the tags that we have seen. That I have said some time back that they are the indicator of the milestones as well, right? So RCS is being there with both production and experimental environment. Here there is no question of trunk, right? You can work around with branch and the tag. Tag is being referred as stamping, to put up a stamp, that is a serial number, and which has to be unambiguously stated. Serial number, there is a meaning for serial number. It should occur one by one. It should not be a random number generator, right? So RCS, it works around with what? Master directory is there, repository has been there. You can do versioning. You can have promotion, internal promotion. You can have releases which are for external, and a version comprises of configuration items. Now, just see to it that the user has a working copy of the files. The user locks the file, and the version has always got an ancestor, because the present version which has been locked, isn't it, by the user for getting the working copy done, will have its past as the ancestor, right? And then you can have the tag, as I have mentioned. Tag and stamping are just similar words. And then there is no CM aggregate as such. Concurrency is controlled with locking. Locking we have understood how it works. Tags are used to identify the baselines. This is the critical stuff that you have to remember about RCS. On the basis of RCS, PRCS has been developed, that is Project Revision Control System has been developed, but which is out of scope of our configuration management syllabus. So RCS version numbering, as I have said to you, it works around with the trunk. Trunk has been the main story, right? One of the point that has been taken on the trunk, right? So 1.1 is revision. Okay, it's been going around. Constant revision has been there. Branch 1.3.1. You are doing a modification for 1.3.1.1. That is the revision. So just see to it that from trunk to branch to tag, right? This is how we have been reaching out to the RCS version number system. As I have told you that some of the times conceptually trunk is been missing in case of RCS. I repeat again, the trunk may be missing, but in some of the literatures, it has been indicated that trunk is there, right? CVS, concurrent version system, right? Parallelly, you can do the changes, and it has got advantages over RCS. It has got the same kind of a format as RCS, that is to lock the file and then move ahead with the trunk and then branch and then working around with the tags. So just see to it that check-ins or updates can be worked around with the current versions of the files only. So just see to it that in cases, the second point, where several developers or teams want to each maintain their own version of files, CVS vendor branches can import a version from another team. So import and export, importing the latest files, right? So previous files, if you have been modifying that, that will be a waste of effort. So unreserved checkouts. Likewise, we have seen Andy and Bobby's example. One has to wait. Bobby was been waiting till Andy finished the commit, right? So this is not going to happen here. Yeah, flexible modules database has been there. It runs on the most of the Unix variants and clients for the aged VMS oriented software. Now the things given as 95 Windows 95 NT, but CVS is running on the latest version of Microsoft versions of OS. So user in CVS model can get the controlled item. There is a directory which is maintaining all the updated files. Now the revisions have got the ancestors, and tag is there similarly. So this is a superset of RCS Directories are also controlled, which was not been there. Compare this diagram with the diagram of RCS. This was a straight away kind of a thing. User locks the file, gets the working copy, version, it's having multiple versions, okay, multiple tags, okay, having a repository. Now in CVS, you have got revisions, multiple revisions, and they will be pushed into the repository. This is server side. So copy, modify, merge. Yeah, we have seen this. Copy, modify, merge. 7 points were been there with Andy and Bobby, and we have already taken the note of that. So how it happens is Ramu and Shamu, they are the developers. So Ramu performs the checkout and Shamu performs the checkout. Ramu gets a working copy, Shamu gets a working copy. They modify it. Yeah, so the modification has been done by Ramu at the earliest, so submits with the help of check-in, and little bit of changes are been remaining on Shamu's side. So it goes up for merging the things, and the merged version has been communicated back to Shamu. One more thing is that if changes overlap, Shamu resolves the conflict by editing the merged copy. It will not be Ramu who will be editing. It will be Shamu who will be resolving this conflict. I hope so you have understood with this message sequence chart, which is very similar to sequence diagram. So, renaming in CVS. So, you can have the editor to remove the tags, branches, history trees which can be disconnected. From an editor, you can have my editor version, and you can work around on that. Subversioning, that is, there is a work that has been done by Tigris. Official site has been shown. It was an open source project. It is based around on CVS. Again, to remind you, RCS was the starting point, revision control system, then concurrent version control system, and then the subversion control system, that is SVN. Based on CVN, what are the features that are being taken from CVS? Subversion interface and features similar to CVS, commands, checkout, add, delete, commit, and differentiate. Differences are there in terms of version control, moving, renaming, copying of the files and directories, which was not been there. Directory level things were not being permitted in CVS. So metadata, first time we listened that the metadata is been coming around for the files and directory. Again, to remind you, metadata is data about data, yeah, and meta version is version about version. Meta file is file about file. Right. Server options, standalone installations are, you can integrate into Apache. Okay, so SVN adopts similar functionality to CVS, but is a complete re-implementation. I read again, similar functionality than CVS, but it is a complete re-implementation. So, you see to it, the SVN model, user gets the working copy. Again, we just see that the tags are here absent. Okay, somewhere we have seen the tags way back. And compare the three diagrams. Here, the two diagrams we have been having the tags. The revisions are being iterative. Okay, they can have the addresses. So, directories and files. Okay. And for that, you work around with the global version numbers setting. Global version numbers setting. So, branches and tags are copied. So, therefore, they are not being indicated anywhere in this diagram. Repeat again, branches and tags are being copied. Copied from where? Copied from the server side repository into directory first of all, and then the directory has got its launching to the file, and then you work around with the controlled item given to a particular user, and then the revisions with merging they takes place. So this is how the progress happens, is how it divides into tree. Global revision number applies to the entire stuff. 0th version, first version, see the increments, 2 major and 3 minor. Then the second one, 2 major, 3 major and 4 minor. In the third release, 1, 2, 3, 3 major and 6 minor. So there will be growth of minor versions which will be more explicitly will be added by the people working around on that. We are heading towards the end of this presentation. Just there would be 1 or 2 slides left out. Renaming, just see to it how it happens is editor 3, 4 and my editor, SVN rename editor, my editor. Subversion treats the name of a CI as an attribute. So that attribute is a very valuable attribute. So content changes are applicable. There is a single history tree, as I indicated, single history tree here, because global revision number system has been employed. Again, that is been divided into parts and parcels. Okay, that could be a 16-digit number, numeric number, alphanumeric number, which can be used, right? And renaming conflicts. 2 users renaming the same file at the same time are detected. What is the benefit of that? You can keep one name which is appropriate and delete the other. How the copying happens is, copies in a similar way than renaming. The history of an CI includes history of the original, and copies are cheap. They are having the differences. So branches in subversions are simple copies. So that's why there is nothing specific that was been shown as far as tags and branches are been concerned in the diagram, this diagram, right? Now moving ahead is the end of the session. So to revamp, today we have taken the note of the configuration management terms using the correct nomenclature. We have tried to work out with the approaches, blocking mechanism, merging mechanisms with suitable diagrams, and I hope so that you would have enjoyed the session, and